The first time I competed for Subversion was Road to Subversion. That was a quintet style Subversion match. I was competing under Gracie Humaita. It was a very special moment for me. I competed under my coach, who was Sami Baki. Also in the team was Robert Whittaker, who was in the UFC, middleweight champion of the world, Jacob Malkoon, Joel Costello, and there was one more person that I can't remember. Maybe it was me. I named the fifth person. But I took on Ethan Thomas that day. It was a pretty tough match, back and forth. We wrestled a lot. We had a bit of ground time. It was a pretty epic match. After that, my second match was the first Subversion at Roundhouse. I took on Luke Castles, who was a Sydney West martial arts guy. He had submitted me about 4 weeks before that with a heel hook. So what I remember was don't need to get into heel hook. I think I actually attacked the outside heel hook and nearly submitted him, but he was never going to tap to that. And then I managed to win the match via decision. So I was happy to walk away with that win. That match was even more important to me because my son was born about 3 days before that. And a lot of people probably won't compete, but I still took on the challenge and took on that match. And he was at home. I hope he was watching me and remembers it. So my third match was probably my biggest match up to date, Isaac Michel. I still took on the match because I wanted the challenge. It was a bit of a different type of match because it was during the pandemic and you couldn't have a coach, there couldn't be anyone. It was when masks were still happening and I managed to take him on. It was a pretty back and forth match up until the last 30 or 40 seconds when he submitted me. But I believe I had a great match up until that time. So yeah, it was a pretty tough match. So my fourth match was against Mick DeMarco. What I remember, it was the first one back from COVID lockdowns and people were still wearing masks. The referee was wearing masks. It was a pretty good match. I felt like I nearly got the submission early on, but he's super tough, which I expected, and he managed to get out, but I won the match by decision, so that was a good match for me. My fifth match was against Mark Scott from Garage Jiu-Jitsu. He's a tough opponent. I'm pretty sure he called me out at that time because I wasn't going to be competing, but he said he wanted the match against me. So I took on the match. I felt like that was probably my best match up to date. I showcased a lot of passing and then I managed to win via heel hook. So people were starting to respect the fact that I started to know some heel hooks now. So my sixth match was against Flo Kraus. He's super tough. I knew it was going to be like that. I took the match on with about a week's notice and there was a bit of a weight discrepancy as well with that one because it was a day before weighing, probably about 8 kilos or so. I always walk around at 70 kilos. He probably was around 78, so I could really feel the pressure and the weight during the match. Super high level wrestler. He managed, I think, took me down, which was probably the first time I've been taken down in a long time from a duck under, or when I reshot maybe, I can't remember exactly. I thought I was down and I remember during the match, I'm like, I have to go, I have to win this match. Crowd started going crazy, yelling out, Ali Boombaye, my brothers. I was like, I can't lose. Managed to get underneath him, get around to the back and nearly finish with a rear naked choke. That pretty much gave me the win in the match. So my last match was against Mikhail. That was Subversion State of Origin. It was really important because I wanted to make sure that I get this match and win it. Mikhail is really well respected in the community. And for me, he's someone that he's a good friend of mine actually, but someone that I always wanted to verse. So the fact that I was able to walk away with the win, I could hear the commentator saying he's got a really hard guard to pass, and I managed to pass him 2 or 3 times. So I'm hoping that I can apply that to Thalison Soares, who people reckon he's got one of the best guards in the world, but I'm pretty sure if anyone's going to pass him, it's probably going to be me. So I'm going to make it happen.